In this video, we're going to be seeing how to find square root of a perfect square. So what are perfect squares? Perfect squares are those numbers whose square root is always a whole number. For example, if you take any number such as 64, the square root of 64 is 8. So 64 is known as a perfect square. For that matter, 49 is also known as a perfect square because the square root of 49 will be 7 and it's a whole number. So in this video, we'll be only dealing with perfect squares. I'll be doing another video for finding square roots of non-perfect square numbers also. So the link to that video will be in the description. Make sure to check that out. So let us proceed and understand how to find square root of perfect squares. So if you see here, I have written a table. This gives us perfect squares of numbers from 1 through 9. So square of 1 is 1, square of 2 is 4, 3 is 9, 4 is 16, 5 is 25, 6 is 36, 7 is 49, 8 is 64, and 9 is 81. So I really want you all to remember this table. This is one necessary table. Now if you see here, there's a pattern, and the reason why I've written this is, if you see 1 and 9, these two numbers, squares, end with the same last digit. We are concerned only with the last digit. So the last digit here is 1. If you see 2 squared and 8 squared, the last digit of their square also ends in the same number, that is 4. 3 and 7, they both end in 9. 4 and 6, they both end in 6. But 5 is alone, and any perfect square which ends with 5 will be to our advantage. We'll see why that is so in the later part of the video. So let us begin. You just need to remember this part. So let us take some examples. Our first example here is the number 1444. So what you gotta do is, whenever you get some number like this and you want to remove its square root, you're going to group the last two digits. This will be one group. Any number before this will form one group. Here there are only two digits, so these two digits will form the second group. Now what you gotta do in this first group is that you see the last digit, that is the digit in the units place. And once you know this digit, you gotta come to this table and see that which numbers, squares, end in 4. So we see that 2 and 8, these two numbers, squares, end in 4. So whatever our square root is, its last digit will definitely be 2 or 8. That is, it will end in 2 or 8. So let us go to the next set of numbers. These are the next set of digits. So you see that it is 14. What you gotta do here is see between which two perfect square does 14 lie. We see that 14 lies between 3 and 4. So we gotta take the smaller number, that is 3. Now we have got the first digit of our square root. Now we gotta decide which one between 2 and 8 will form our next digit of the square root. Now there is a warp between the digits 2 and 8. So to decide between them, we use a simple trick. We have got the first digit, right? So what you do here is you multiply this digit with its increment. So increment of 3 will be 4. So 3 fours are 12. You compare this number with this number. So you see that this number 14, that's under the square root, is greater than 12. So you choose the greatest one. So our answer is simply 38. So I really want you to grab a pen and a paper and practice the next few examples. You'll be able to do this on your mind at the end of the video, but please watch the video until the end. And for the beginning, I request you to take a pen and a paper and try doing this. It will be really helpful. Our next number here is 2401. 2401. So again, you quickly group the last two digits and group the first two digits. So the last digit of this number ends in 1. So it's definitely going to be either 1 or 9, since the square of 1 ends in 1 And the square of 9 also ends in 1. It is 81, so it ends in 1. So last digit is definitely going to be either 1 or 9. Now let us take the second set of numbers. It is 24. You gotta see where 24 lies. It lies between 4 square and 5 square. 4 square is 16, 5 square is 25. This number is 24. So you gotta take the smallest number. So 4 is smallest. So our first digit is going to be 4. We got to decide between 1 and 9. So what you do here is you take 4 and multiply by its increment. 4 5s are 20. You compare these two numbers. We see that 24 is greater than 20. Therefore, you take the greater number, 49. You can check it on your calculator. The square root of 2401 is going to be 49. Let us take another example. So I'm going to really solve quite a few examples here so that it gets hardwired in your brain. So our next number here is 6889, 6889. So you got to find the square root of 6889. So what you do is, the first step is you group the last two numbers. It ends in 9. So it is going to be either square of 3. So the last digit is gotta be either 3 or 7, since the square of 3 and 7 ends in 9. So you keep them aside. Now take the first two digits, 68. So you gotta see where 68 exactly lies. 68 lies between 64 and 81. That are the squares of numbers 8 and 9. So choose the smallest one, that is 8. So our first digit is going to be 8. Now to decide between 3 and 7, what you do is you multiply 8 by its increment. 8 9s are 72. So 72 and 68, you have to compare between these two. You see that 68 is actually smaller than 72. So you take the smaller number. 83 is our answer. Let us take another example. So let us now take this number, 7921 square root. So we group the last two digits, we group the first two digits. We see what the last digit is. It is 1. So it has to be definitely 1 or 9. Now we take the first two digits. It is 79. Let us see where exactly 79 falls. See that 79 falls between 8 or 9. So we take the smallest one, that is 8. So our first digit is going to be 8. Our second digit will be either 1 or 9, so let us decide between them. You take 8 and multiply by its increment. It is going to be 8 into 9. 8 9s are 72. So you compare these two numbers, 79 and 72. We see that 79 is greater than 72. Choose the greater number and that will be your answer. 89 is your final answer. Let us choose the number 3364. So you again group the last two digits. You see that what the last digit is. It is 4. So it's going to be 2 or 8. Let us take the first two digits. It is 33. 33 lies between 25 and 36. So you choose a smaller number, that is 5. So the first digit of our answer will be 5. You multiply it with its increment. 5 6 are 30. You compare these two numbers, 33 and 30. 33 is greater than 30, hence choose the greater number among these two. 8 is the greater one. So 58 is the answer. So now let us take the example of 9025, 9025. So we again group the last two digits. We see that it ends in 5. So the only number whose square ends in 5 is 5 itself, because 5 squared is 25. So there is no war here. We have got the last digit of our square root and it is going to be 5. Now the other digits are 90. We just have to see where exactly 90 falls between the squares list. 90 falls between 9 square, that is 81. 10 square is going to be 100. So it falls between 81 and 100, that is, it falls between 9 and 10. You choose the smaller number, so it is going to be 9. Since we already have the last digit, we just keep it. 95 is the answer. This is the reason why I told the numbers ending in 5 are very easy to calculate. Now I'll give just one more example here. 1 2 3 2 1. So we are supposed to find the square root of this number. We again group the last two digits. We do not care how many digits are preceding it. We only are interested in the last two digits. In that, the last digit is 1, so it is going to end in either 1 or 9. So you see the first three digits are 123, and we do not know where exactly it falls. So this is the point that I want to make here. The more the basic squares you know, the more the higher squares you can find out. That is, just by knowing the first 10 squares, that is from 1 to 10, you could calculate the square roots of numbers ranging from 1 to 10,000. So if you know the squares from 1 to 20, you can get the square roots of number ranging from 1 to 20,000. So it's just that more the basic square roots you know, more the higher square roots you can find out. So just let me add some more squares here. 11 square will be 121, 12 square will be 144. So now we see that 123 lies between 121 and 144, that is, it lies between 11 square and 12 square. So we choose the smaller one, that is 11, and now we have to decide which among 1 and 9 will hold the position of the last digit. So we take 11 and multiply to its increment. 11 into 12, that is equal to 132. So we see these two numbers. 123 is smaller than 132, and hence 1 is going to be our answer. 111 is our final answer.